Hello and welcome to another episode of Locals Learn. It's a new year, it's a new season of Locals Live, so we're going to start it off by talking about some educational content. What we're doing today is we're going to be miking a few different instruments, and I'm going to be showing you how to do that. The mic I'm going to be using is the same one that I've talked about on a previous episode of Locals Learn, the Pyle PD Mic 78. What I'm going to be miking with it today is I'm going to be miking an acoustic guitar, an electric guitar amplifier, a snare drum, and also a kick drum. So some things to note is that this mic has what's called a cardioid pickup pattern, meaning that it picks up sound from the front of it, but not from the back, and it picks up a little bit from the sides as well. So not all mics have the same pickup pattern, and what I'm talking about today is most relevant to ones that have this cardioid pickup pattern. The other thing to keep in mind is this is a quite close range microphone because it's what's called a dynamic microphone instead of something like a condenser microphone. This microphone right here that I'm recording my speech with is a condenser microphone. It picks up sound in a larger area. So I'm going to be miking things quite closely with this mic today because it's a dynamic microphone. Alright, so without further ado, the first thing we're going to look at is how to mic an acoustic guitar.
Alright, so here I'm just going to put the mic onto my mic stand, and I'm going to be using a mic stand for all of the examples shown here today, but you don't have to. You can use really absolutely anything that will hold the mic steady. The world is your mic stand. So what I'm making sure to do is to put the mic about 5 inches from the sound hole on my acoustic guitar. And here's a demo of how that sounds. So a couple other things to keep in mind is to make sure the mic isn't pointed too far up at the performer if they're singing, and also to not put the mic too far away because then you won't get any of the tones, and not put it too close because then you'll get too much of the pick noise. So next we'll move on to electric guitar, and here I'm just getting my electric guitar out of its slightly dusty case, and I hear this wonderful chord. So after I tuned it up, I started making sure to place my mic properly in front of the amplifier. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the flashlight on my phone to illuminate the speaker itself by pressing it right up against the grill. And the reason that I'm doing this is to make sure that I can place the mic in the correct position in front of the speaker. If I place the mic in front of the center of the speaker, you'll get a very muddy guitar tone. So you want to make sure that it's kind of offset from the center a little bit. I like to do about halfway from the center, maybe a quarter of the way from the center. And you want to make sure that it's nice and tight so it doesn't move during your recording. On my amplifier right here, I just have some pretty basic settings, basic EQ with a little bit of reverb. So let's listen to how it sounds. And just to show that it also works for distorted guitar, here's a little clip of that as well. So next I'm going to mic the top of a snare drum. And this is actually pretty simple. Mainly what you want to make sure to do is to have about a 45-degree angle, maybe a little bit shallower, pointed at the top of the snare drum, and make sure that the mic is out of the way enough that the drummer isn't going to hit it while they're playing that snare. So let's take a listen. Now for some rolls. So now I'm going to move the mic to the bottom of the snare drum. Miking the top of the snare drum is good if you want to get more impact of the stick hitting the snare itself. But miking the bottom is good if you want to get more of that high-end rattle of the strings, and if it's a deeper snare, a bit thicker sound as well. So next I'm going to mic, really it's not a kick drum, it's a cajon, but the mic technique is roughly the same. Basically what you want to do is you want to place the mic right at the center of the sound hole of the drum, about an inch away from the wall of the drum. And if you move the mic closer in, you're going to get a more resonant sound, whereas if you move it far away, you're going to get more of an impact sound. So let's take a listen.
So there we have it, how to record 4 different instruments using the same microphone, including how to place them for the correct sounds. And that'll conclude this week's episode. I hope that you enjoyed watching, and I hope that you actually did learn something on Locals Learn. So I'll see you next time. Perfect. Good enough. Are you zooming in on me?